Somebody offered me $1,000,000 to find out whether the deaf tycoon was really deaf. I wriggled into my sexy little dress and practically skipped over. One night later I was in the bathroom, supporting my lower back with one hand, face scarlet, speed dialing my benefactor. Boss, he's definitely deaf. No matter how loud I screamed, he wouldn't stop. The voice on the other end came back hoarse, refusing to believe it, ordering me to keep testing. Fine, test I would. Then, in the pitch-black small hours, I saw Julian with his back to me, phone against his ear, his voice warm and clear. I know she's the rival's plant. Tomorrow I'll feed her to the sharks. I fired up the skiff and fled that very night. The next time Julian caught me, I was patting my baby bump, twisting my face away. I'm married. You can't be the other guy, right? Julian's eyes flushed crimson. When the first round finally ended, I was seeing stars. Every muscle melted into the mattress like I'd been worked over with a bat. Julian still hooked an arm around my waist, pupils glazed with lust, soundlessly mouthed. Again, I pushed at his shoulder, frantic. No, really, I'll die. Before the words finished, I was yanked back in. God help me, why had I dumped the whole bag of mystery powder in when the mystery man handed it over? That stuff is rocket fuel. Tears streaking, I kept my ears cocked through every impact, straining to catch the slightest grunt from Julian. Once, twice. By the eighth my bones felt disjointed, and he finally stilled, pinning me to his chest. Only when I was positive he was asleep did I limp to the bathroom. I dug out the hidden phone and dialed. Ring. Just as I decided to call tomorrow, he picked up. I croaked. Boss. He's stone deaf. 8 rounds. I screamed myself hoarse. He never paused. 2 seconds of silence. Then a husky chuckle that burned my ear. Don't buy it. Julian is vicious and deep. One night won't crack him. Stick with him. Keep digging. Still. I almost shrieked, staring at the hickey constellation in the mirror. Fresh tears pooling. This money is cursed. 2 million. 3 words, and the line went dead. I gnawed my lip. 2 million would bankroll the Sunshine Kids for years and put them through real schools. Screw it. I'd already slept with him. Might as well cash in. I soaked in the tub till every trace of him was gone, then tiptoed back to bed. The sight of Julian cocooned in the comforter made me furious. Sure, he looked exactly like his photos, 8-pack. Skills straight out of a Korean webtoon, but hogging the blanket was a war crime. I yanked a corner. He rolled over and hugged it tighter. While wrestling for fabric, I drafted tomorrow's explanation and drifted off. Half dreaming, someone kissed my forehead and murmured something. I smacked my lips and slept. Morning, empty bed. Double catastrophe. First time roofie ing a guy. 0 playbook. Seeing those cold sheets, I broke into a cold sweat. I grabbed the phone again, trying. The cheerful ringtone froze me. I looked up. There he stood in the doorway. I swallowed and hung up. Julian carried a breakfast tray. I clutched the quilt, only to find I was already in matching pajamas. He kept his gaze locked on me until the tray settled on the nightstand, then said quietly, I had the kitchen send up a bit of everything. Corn porridge, giant pork buns, soup dumplings, wontons. My mouth almost watered, but I kept a stern face and didn't reach. He added, eat first. I'll wait outside. There are clean outfits on the sofa. Our eyes met. My cheeks burned and I nodded. Last night, I hadn't paid attention. His voice was nice. The second he turned to leave, I resumed testing. Jerk, moron, super moron. That was weak. Mediocre. My ex did it better. He walked out steady as a metronome, never even flinched, confirmed deaf. I chewed soup dumplings and sighed. Such a pity for a gorgeous man to lose his hearing. Stuffed. I rubbed my round belly, grabbed the top garment. Giant Chanel logo almost blinded me, and resolved to resell it on eBay. I squared my shoulders and marched out. In the sitting room, Julian stared at his laptop, expression thunderous, citing every TikTok tear-jerk trick. I squeezed out 2 drops and approached. Sir, last night you shoved me onto that bed and did those things? That was my first time. Choke. I'm not some casual girl. Take responsibility or I call the cops. Choke. I can't live with the shame. I sprinted toward the balcony, only to remember it was sealed glass. I plopped onto the windowsill anyway. Pay me or marry me, otherwise I'm making this huge. I bawled theatrically, then peeked through my fingers. He sat frowning, utterly baffled. Right, deaf. So from his POV, I just performed a manic mime, wild gestures, soundless howling, window climbing lunatic. Mortified, I balanced on the sill, nowhere to go. Finally, Julian rose, cleared his throat. I apologize. Nina, a car accident took my hearing. Were you speaking about last night? His gaze carried an emotion I couldn't read. I hiccuped and nodded. Sliding down, Julian produced a card. $10 million. Compensation for last night. My jaw unhinged. If that's insufficient, another card. My eyes turned into truck headlights. I snatched both, blushing. Oh, you shouldn't have. Also, he paused. Obsidian eyes pinning me. Would you be my girlfriend? The family keeps pushing marriage. I blinked. His baritone continued. 100,000 a month. Is that agreeable? My heart jackhammered. 100 grand every month. What cosmic dog poop had Nina stepped in? I bobbed my head. Deal. Deal. Hands rubbing like flies. I beamed. What services does Julian require? He studied my lips, lip reading like a savant, then smiled. Dinner with my family tonight. My grin froze. Money never comes easy. Julian drove a 4-ringed Audi to my rickety rental. The whole ride I perched gingerly, terrified of denting the seat. Only when I reached my crumbling stairwell did I breathe and step out. I pointed toward the stairwell. Pierce. I'll head up first. Text me the address later and I'll grab an Uber. To my surprise, Julian actually smiled, something as rare as a solar eclipse. I'm not letting my girlfriend chase herself across town. I'll pick you up at 6. Don't stand me up. I managed a stiff He pulled out his phone, still grinning. Girlfriend, let's swap numbers. He walked me all the way to my door, and the lock didn't click shut before my brain short-circuited. That smile, illegal. That voice, ASMR on steroids. The ride, smooth as silk. Plus he'd blocked a fat sewer rat that came bombing down the stairs. When my soul finally crawled back into my body, I frantically wired the 5 million sitting in my account to Foster at Sunshine. Then the drum solo started in my chest. The mystery benefactor had paid me. Julian was spoiling me. If either side found out I was double dipping, I was toast. If the mystery man discovered I was an undercover plant and blabbed to Julian, I'd be 6 feet under. The day I'd accepted the job, I'd baidu'd Julian. The search crowned him king of the business jungle. Sent abroad at 15, back at 22 to inherit the empire. Crushed every rival. Built Pierce into a fortress. Rumor had it competitors who crossed him simply vanished from the food chain. Some fled the continent to stay alive. The article's thumbnail was a green-eyed, fanged demon so dark I slept with the lights on for 2 nights. Hands shaking. I speed-dialed the mystery man to refund the cash and run. He picked up. Voice sub-zero, swamped. Keep tailing Julian. No check-ins. And the line died with a beep. I stared at the black screen. Ice creeping up my spine. How the hell do you play double agent when both bosses refuse to talk? I binged every undercover thriller I could find and distilled the playbook. Charm upward, flatter downward, eyes open, mouth shut, ready to ghost at any second. Also, 9 out of 10 undercover rats end up dead. My heart flatlined. At 6:30 sharp Julian texted, downstairs. I waited on the curb, face the color of skim milk. The second I saw him the confession bubbled up my throat, but he opened the car door like a true gentleman, so earnest I swallowed the words. The whole ride my stomach rode a roller coaster, eyes glued to the blur outside. At a red light he turned, voice clear and gentle, relax. Nina, think of it as an ordinary dinner. My parents already adore you. I nodded, Oscar-worthy calm. When the car stopped, the reception committee on the porch almost snapped my ankle. Julian laced his fingers through mine. Grandma and Grandpa flew in to meet you. Deep breath. His palm felt like a hot water bottle. A sudden force field against the world. Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, everyone greeted me like long-lost family. Chopsticks flew. Plates rotated. Questions about my day poured in. I impaled a piece of chicken, guilt chewing harder than I did. These people were pure kindness, and I was a Trojan horse. Julian leaned closer. Something wrong with the food? I shook my head, fighting the burn behind my sternum. His mother glared at him. Julian, did you upset Nina? Then, soft as silk, sweetie, if the dishes don't hit the spot, tell Auntie and I'll swap the whole menu. I dropped my gaze. Tears were pool party ready, but I couldn't wreck the warmth. So I looked up, voice wobbling, everything's perfect. Julian treats me like gold. I just haven't eaten with family in forever. That hit me. I finished. The table went still. Julian laid his hand over mine. This is your home now. The noise is permanent. A giant wah tore out of me. Julian's face flashed pure panic. He sprang up, napkin dabbing everywhere, chairs scraping, chopsticks clattering. I tried to quit. The faucet only opened wider. It's my first real family. You're all so nice. Later Julian swore I sounded like Donald Duck on repeat. The whole clan chimed in trying to hush me. I sobbed for mommy, daddy, hugs. Grandpa and grandma teared up. The mansion echoed like a funeral turned festival. When the tank ran dry, Julian carried me upstairs and patted my back until I conked out. Next morning I tried to fold myself under the breakfast table to escape shame. Before we left, his mom squeezed my hand, eyes still pink but smiling. come back soon, sweetheart. She slid a jade bracelet onto my wrist. This pair belonged to Julian's grandma, one for you, one for me. I waved until the house shrank in the rear window, then sneaked a peek at Julian and lifted the bracelet. Jade. He glanced over, half smiling. Mom's gift is non-returnable. I hummed, cradling the cool green circle. It glowed with something that felt like belonging. Somehow I coasted through the next 3 months as Julian's songbird, a gilded canary with occasional nightmares about my mystery boss. Aside from panic attacks that my cover might blow, life tasted like whipped cream. Julian bankrolled everything: a 400 square foot downtown penthouse, driving school, a closet full of Chanel. The only catch, he thought my IQ needed CPR. He hired a squad of business tutors, signed me up for Riverdale Prep, insisted I'd gone for Harvard Business School, booked Yelts, even made me sit in on his board meetings. Charts of numbers swam before my eyes. Smoke poured from my ears. Behind reflective glasses, Julian listened to my latest disaster report. When the tutor left, he crooked a finger. I shuffled over, bracing for impact. I really tried. No spanking. His hand landed anyway. Flight. Proprietary, then yanked me onto his lap. Standards are standards, babe. I giggled, slipped off his glasses, pecked his cheek. Tonight I'll break out the bunny outfit. A low growl rumbled in his chest. I vote now. Now. We're in your... He swallowed the rest of my protest. Much later I limped out of the Pierce Tower, muttering, ravenous beast. 3 months confirmed 2 facts. Julian really was deaf, and the man was a 24/7 hunger strike in reverse. Give him a locked door, and I'd be walked bow-legged for days. If he weren't so ridiculously sweet, I'd have drop-kicked him to Jersey. 2 days afterward I accepted his video call while plotting revenge. On screen he scanned documents, voice gravelly, evening yacht party. Be ready. Since he couldn't hear or look up, I unleashed nope, nope, and nope. Mommy's unavailable. You rabid wolf. I'm slipping mystery powder in your San Pellegrino, cackle cackle. Then I'll duct tape you to a chair, spritz myself with perfume, and nap while you drool. Next cosplay, wolf tail in the back, bunny tail in the front, nurse cap on top. I ran out of breath. Julian's chin was propped in his hand, eyes twinkling like he just watched premium cable. I slapped both palms over my mouth. Heartbeat, fetal position. Julian signed, spoke too fast. Rewind and caption. I forced my face into perfect calm, flashed him my best obedient little smile, and said, slowly, nothing much. Just missed you, moi. I blew him a kiss and hung up before he could reply. Close call. Almost lost $100,000 a month gig. At the gala, I drifted on Julian's arm, circulating. He was as warm as ever, chatted when conversation worked, steered us away when it didn't. I played my role as arm candy flawlessly. 10 of these parties a month had turned me from eager rookie to expert slacker. I kept sneaking off for mini cupcakes. Julian always hunted me down in the crowd. I was swallowing cupcake number 3 when a ripple went through the room. Isn't that Vivian, the ex, back from France? Yeah. Remember when Julian was so wrecked he skipped the office for a month and the old man at Pierce landed in the hospital? Think she's here to rekindle? Look at her eyes, glued to him. I glanced toward Julian. A slim woman in white stood before him, cool, elegant, unmistakably familiar. Her gaze equal parts intimacy and reproach. Julian, soft, surprised, perfect. Julian's spine went rigid. Vivian stepped closer, murmured something. A moment later, he looked my way. I wiped my fingers, scurried over, and threaded my arm through his. Heart souring. Vivian narrowed her eyes. Smile gentle. Nina, I've heard so much. Thank you for taking care of Julian lately. Let me treat you to lunch sometime. My way of saying thanks for him. I beamed, lost for words, and managed a lame thanks. She rolled on, resurrecting their shared memories. Inside jokes only they understood. Her gaze flicked to me between sentences, sharp enough to cut. I tilted my head. Julian was staring at her, tiny smiles tugging the corners of his eyes. A waiter passed with champagne. Vivian stopped him, eyes still on Julian. I'm moving back. Julian, I'll need Pierce's support. They each took a flute. I grabbed one too. When our glasses touched, I saw it. Her smile was polite, but her eyes were ice picks. I shivered and let go of Julian's arm. He glanced down. What's wrong? Bathroom, I muttered, and bolted. 10 years of romance novels told me the equation. Ice-cold CEO plus returning first love plus clueless mistress equals swift redundancy. The thought of losing my $1,000,000 a month stipend stung. Fizzy and sour. Mirror me looked like a peach in a blush pink princess gown. Spy peach. I'd kept phoning the mystery employer these past 3 months. He always cut me off with "You keep probing Julian, and why wired the cash anyway. Can't burn ancestral luck forever. And double dipping pricks my conscience. I trudged toward the exit, only to have a bottle of red dumped over my head. Vivian stood arms folded. Arctic. Oops. Shaky hand. Sorry, Nina. My dress. Your fault. Apologize. She raked me head to toe. Snorted. It's just a dress. I'll have 10 identical ones sent over. Items on a shelf. Bought with money. I'm here to offer advice. Leave Julian while you're ahead. He's sentimental. Squeeze what you can before he tires of you. Once I'm Pierce again, I'll finish you myself, and you'll leave with zero. I glared. You want me gone? Her grin widened. She stepped in, shoved the empty bottle into my arms, then flung herself backward. Ah, Nina. She hit the floor with a thud, wincing. Nina. Why? Julian. I looked up. Julian stood behind her, gaze glacial. The air froze. Vivian appealed to him, eyes downcast. Don't blame her. She's just young. I slipped. I tugged my stained skirt. Julian. She ruined the dress you bought me. Seconds stretched. He didn't look at either of us. He simply lifted a hand and summoned a waiter. It's soiled. Throw it out. My stomach dropped. Did he mean the dress? Or me? I dove under the covers the moment we got back and hid. His sentence looped in my skull, wings flapping, fogging my brain, pressing on my chest. I'd never felt this way before and had no cure. When Julian came to bed, he didn't cuddle me or kiss me goodnight. He lay on the far side, lost. I drifted off heavy-hearted. Sometime later the mattress lifted. Julian slipped out. I tiptoed after. Light sliced through the door crack. On the far deck he stood with his back to me, phone to ear. Sea wind carrying that velvet voice. I know she's the rival's plant. Tomorrow she sleeps with the sharks. Clunk, my heart stopped. Julian could hear. He'd always been able to hear. He knew I was the spy. Had been acting along. Goosebumps exploded. I shook so hard my teeth rattled. Keep performing and tomorrow I'd be fish food. No. Dying isn't on my schedule. I scrambled back, shoved cash into a tote, sprinted to the stern. The yacht butler had said any real danger, take the speedboat. Irony. Julian taught me to drive it. First lesson I'd white-knuckled the throttle while he steadied my wrist from behind. Easy. Feel it. First time is just for fun. Don't panic. Tonight the engine snarled across black water. I maxed the throttle and tore away from the yacht until its lights shrank to a sequin. Only then did I ease off. Hands still trembling on the wheel. I thought my cheap seduction had been invisible. He'd known from day one I came with an agenda, and I, pathetic, had still hoped for a heartbeat. Invisible fingers squeezed my heart. I scrubbed my face. Salt or tears. Who cares? Live first. Hoodie over my head. Eyes peeping. I hit a 24-hour bank. Yanked a suitcase of cash. Killed the phone. And drove to Sunshine. Kids cannonballed into me. Nina. Nina's back. I passed out trinkets. They tornadoed away. Chattering. Foster hugged me. Palm circling my back like she could read every bruise. Good kid. You're home. After you nap, I'll fry you an egg. I burrowed into her chest and mumbled. I was the baby Foster fished out of the trash pile behind the hospital. I don't know who my real parents are, but Foster is all I'll ever need. That night I slept like the dead. In my dreams there was no Julian, no cloying perfume from the glittering world I'd run from. When I woke I asked Foster if we could stay a while and look after the little ones. She squeezed my hand, swallowed whatever she wanted to say, and finally nodded. For 2 weeks I jumped at every shadow, terrified Julian had sent half the underworld to drag me back. When nothing happened, I let myself breathe. Then my body turned on me, bone-deep tired, narcoleptic, gagging at the smell of anything fried. I lifted a chunk of my favorite braised pork belly, stuck it in my mouth, wrinkled my nose, chewed twice, and spit it into the napkin. A terrifying thought slammed into me. My period. It hadn't shown up in forever. I slipped out while Foster was busy, sprinted to the corner pharmacy, and bought a pregnancy stick. The moment the twin pink lines appeared my heart flatlined. Abort, and keep screamed at each other inside my skull. I inventoried my cash. I'd withdrawn 500 grand, slipped Foster 400, leaving me one, but I couldn't touch the debit card again. One swipe and Julian could triangulate me. I decided to keep the baby, but I had to get a job. Thank God for that YELTS course I'd signed up for. It landed me a gig teaching English at Riverdale. Second month in, I waltzed into class and came face to face with my special student, Julian. The principal had warned me. The guy's English was so bad he couldn't even identify the 26 letters. Nina, you're good. Teach him and you'll clean up. He flashed a cryptic grin, shoved me through the door, and slammed it shut. I frowned, looked up, and nearly died. There he was, suited up, lounging in the front row, smiling like a cat who'd swallowed the canary. Nina, I'll be in your care. My brain blue screened. Julian, how are you here? He propped his chin on the desk. Adam's apple sliding. Learning. I spun, grabbed the door handle. It was gone. His voice floated over my shoulder. Looking for this? I turned. He set the missing handle on the desk. Eyes branding me. Nina, may we begin? I'm dying for new knowledge. I was 2 seconds from bawling on my knees. Before the lesson hit the halfway mark, my legs gave out. Julian scooped me up, kissed me until I saw stars, banded an arm around my ribs, and growled, still planning to run? Tears slinging off my chin. I sobbed, no more running. A swift swat to my backside tore a whimper out of me. Swear. He drew a ragged breath, palm settling over the tiny swell of my belly. Whose kid? I was imploding. Yours. Only yours. Then what was that crap you spouted earlier? I twisted his forearm in retaliation. Julian, drop it. It was one sentence. His smirk turned wicked. Say it. I looked away, muttering, I'm married. The baby's my husband's. You don't want to be the other guy, do you? He tipped my chin, amusement glittering. Other guy? Fine. I'll be your side piece. Nina. My jaw dropped. Even if you'd married someone else and got knocked up by him, I'd steal you back. Make the kid call me daddy and you call me husband. If that fails, I'll eliminate the man, lock you up, and keep you forever. From the second I saw you, I wanted to chain you to my side so you'd never look at anyone but me. His voice was rough velvet, breath scorching my ear, and my face caught fire. I shoved at his head. Julian, we're at Riverdale, not in your bedroom. Quit it. He only held tighter. I mean every word. Don't leave me again. Nina. A hot tear hit my collarbone. I stared at the top of his head. He almost never let emotions leak. After an eternity, he lifted his face, eyes bloodshot. Come home with me? I nodded. In the car, I turned to him and came clean. Truth is, your rival hired me to check if you're really deaf. I lied first. I'm sorry. That night I drugged you on purpose. Julian, please don't feed me to the sharks. Shark bites hurt. I shot him a timid grin. He watched me, smile widening until he looked at me like I was a cute idiot. Alarm bells clanged in my skull. The mysterious client, that was you? Julian burst out laughing. I shrieked. You set me up. He imprisoned me against his chest while I pummeled him. Voice a low vibration against my ear. Now you can't run. I gouged his waist. Then what were those phone calls about? Why didn't you tell me sooner? His gaze went arctic. Vivian. I found out her family shorted Pierce stock during the IPO and planted moles with my uncle. To keep the listing on track, I played along, then cleaned house. When she flew back unannounced, I couldn't move until I knew her game. My people traced her to my uncle, both still scheming. He pinched my cheek. I've avenged the dress. I was speechless. I thought they were rekindling and he couldn't dump me fast enough. Trying to save face. I huffed. Then why didn't you chase me? I've been back at Sunshine a whole month. Julian snorted. You bolted so fast? Did you ever look back? I don't have rear view eyes. I mumbled. The car rolled to a stop outside Sunshine. Foster and the kids rushed the door, swarming Julian. Big brother. A giant question mark popped over my head. Foster came over, beaming. Nina, remember the boy you fished out of the lake that year? Since then someone's quietly sponsored Sunshine. I told you it might be that boy, but you said he was scrawny. How could he afford it? A few years ago little Julian showed up looking for the girl who saved him. You were away at college, so I gave him your contact. I thought you two had already met. Last month he suddenly called, told me to take care of you, and not to mention he'd ever come here. He wanted you to figure it out yourself. You and Julian met long ago. Back then I'd wandered off, yanked a skinny kid out of the lake, never imagining it was Julian. I whipped my head up, stunned. Julian met my gaze, mouthed, recognize me now? I laughed, ran, and threw myself at him. Turns out the story was written before we ever knew it.